The trial of a Hawaii doctor accused of attempting to murder his wife while on a hiking trail is now underway. Yesterday, police body cam footage showed the aftermath of the alleged attack, and that was played for the jury. Now, a warning to our viewers, some may find the video you're about to see very disturbing. CBS News chief correspondent Matt Gutman breaks down what was captured on camera.
For the first time, graphic police body camera footage shows the moment officers arrived on the scene after Ariel Koenig claims her husband, Maui doctor Gerhard Koenig, tried to kill her. Her face bloody, her walk unsteady. Ariel Koenig is seen being helped by two Good Samaritan nurses down a trail path, one of whom had called for help.
We heard her screaming, help, help, help me, help me.
In the police video, the women are seen treating Koenig and bandaging her wounds.
Sorry, I know. No, you're an angel.
Despite those gashes, she is heard calmly describing her husband to officers.
How tall is he?
5'9".
Jurors were also shown the rock Ariel Koenig testified her husband allegedly used to repeatedly hit her in the head.
What does this photo show, Detective?
Shows a photo of the rock.
And which part of the rock?
The jagged side with blood, well, or what appears to be blood on it.
Prosecutors say this supports their claim that Dr. Koenig tried to push his wife off a cliff on her birthday a year ago before hitting her head with that rock. But the defense argues she started the altercation and that he had acted in self-defense. And to show that Gerhard had hopes of salvaging the relationship, the defense on Tuesday asked her to read the birthday card he gave her that morning.
You're one of the kindest, most giving, and selfless people I know, putting others before yourself with so much love. The kids and I hit the jackpot with you. Love always, G.
The trial is expected to last several more weeks. If convicted, Gerhard Koenig could face up to life in prison.
Okay, I want to bring in CBS News legal analyst Jessica Levinson to talk about this case. Jessica, I want to get your reaction to that video, and we should know, it shows the aftermath of the altercation. How do you believe it will impact both sides of this case?
So the prosecution certainly wants to argue that it helps its case in showing that this was not merely a domestic dispute, that this was so severe that they can show the intent to kill, which is what they need for attempted murder here. They need the intent, and then they need taking a substantial step to do so. I think the prosecution will also say, look, you don't need to trust us on everything. The jurors tend to trust what they can see without hearing secondhand testimony of it. The prosecution will say, this shows, again, how severe. This shows the credibility of how how severe the attack was, what the timeline was. And it means that you don't have to rely on any sort of credibility of saying, how much was she hurt? I think for the defense, they'll say, yes, absolutely, she was in a bad position, but does that mean, in fact, intent to kill? And they'll say she was the one who started, and they're actually making an argument here about self-defense.
I want to cover two more cases that we're following. This one being former Venezuelan President Nicolas Maduro. He was in court today along with his wife. The main subject of the court appearance today was really focused on how to pay his lawyers. The legal team can't just accept a check from Venezuela's government because of sanctions. They would need permission from the U.S. government, who's already said no. What are the other options here?
So the other options would be to try and look at a public defender in this case. I mean, this is one of the interesting twists because legally speaking, there's a lot that could challenge the U.S.'s case against Maduro. But obviously, the other option here is to use somebody who's provided by the taxpayers. A lot of people do that. They use a public defender. In terms of the legal issues here, I think everybody needs to be looking at this 2006 statute that he's being tried under and asking whether or not the U.S. has enough here to show narco-terrorism. And the key part of the case will be trying to link drug trafficking with the intent to commit terrorism.
Yesterday, there was a landmark verdict against Meta and YouTube, saying those companies made a product that they knew was addictive and harmful to children. Now, there are thousands of other lawsuits already in the queue against these companies, many of them from parents who say their children committed suicide because of social media. There's also a pending lawsuit by a number of California school districts. Do social media companies survive this watershed moment? Will they be tied up in lawsuits for the next foreseeable future, for decades here?
Or maybe both. I mean, social media companies could survive and they could also be tied up in litigation. I think what happened this week is important because we have a verdict in the New Mexico case. We have a verdict in the case out of Los Angeles. In both cases, juries finding that social media platforms are liable for essentially bad acts. In New Mexico, we were looking at unfair business practices, and in Los Angeles, we were dealing with the theory of a case based on designing a product that is inherently addictive and such that it's reasonably foreseeable that if people use that addictive product a lot, that they're going to suffer from mental health issues. Which is all to say, I think what we have here in these two cases is a roadmap for many other plaintiffs. You just laid out all the other cases that are going to be brought. This could force Meta and Google and Instagram and YouTube to change their business practices. And I think that could actually stem the tide of some of these lawsuits. But two at this point just means we see the beginning of a sea change. We don't know what this is going to look like in 1 to 2 years.
Jessica Levinson, always great to talk to you. Thanks so much.